Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Jack OATz to go. You either know or you don't. This is a late night installment. I don't think I've ever done one of these like right when spoilers drop, but I feel like I have to for several reasons because this is a huge reveal. This is the first Triad Devil that has been revealed. So this is going to contain spoilers and probably going to put a spoiler image in this as well, just so we have it as reference for what we're going to talk about in this. So before we get into that, thank you guys for tuning in. I know, like I said, it's a late night installment. You guys aren't really used to me dropping it like right off rip. So props if you have notifications on. Just hashtag notification gang right in there if you are. So I wanted to talk about a couple of different things because we're seeing a lot in just one image. And if you have me on Twitter, you already know I pointed out a few different things about Majecula as far as we're seeing. But as I kept thinking about, like, okay, what is going on? Because realistically, there should be no devil, no Triad Devil out right now. The rules of the Advent are very simple. The seals will be lifted, and that is when the devils will come out. Now, the only way for this devil to be out is if it was actually residing in one of the first two clips, which was in the first seal. Remember, Knox diagram shows that the first seal has two clips within the clip that would be released, not just one. So that gave us Lilith and Nama. Now, the really, it always struck me as odd because I'm thinking, like, is Tabata really fumbling here with Lilith and Nama? And I mentioned this in a previous video when I think shortly after they were defeated, where this is a very shallow just look on the devils that should be ruling over the first two clips. And they didn't add anything to the story more than just like some semi-cool magic, some really cool just devil designs, and a really good opportunity for us to see Austin, what he's able to do. But other than that, it really didn't give us anything else. And we saw a tad bit of Liebe remembering, like, okay, like these guys ruled over the, where they were at, and like I said, that's it. That's so shallow, especially for Tabata. I'm thinking, this is wild. There's no way he's just going to leave it at that, because that is the most important part to Liebe's existence, right? But see, this is where I'm getting to. So I have to go back to like a video I made about a year ago when I point out where the triads might lie, and I think I was right on the first go. Where instead, right now, I have it as somehow the Supernal Triad got switched with Megicula being possibly a pathway devil. Instead, the Triad is going straight down the tree, where you would have Belial, Belphegor, and Majecula in this case, where I was thinking at first Majecula was Lilith. But hear me out here. So I'm sticking with the thought of Majecula belonging to the first seal, where Namoth and the Gamaliel are. So Namoth and Lore is where, of course, Nama resides, and the Gamaliel is where Lilith resides. I don't know what's going on, but for whatever reason, I don't think Lilith and Nama were the be-all, end-all there. I just want to point out the size and just overall appearance of Majecula right now. It really reminds me of Dorothy. Why that matters is because when Dorothy was possessed by Reeve was associated with the Sephira Yesod, which is said to be the engine room of creation, as seen by Reeve and Dorothy's dream world magic. So the shadow of Yesod is the Gamaliel. Now, I mentioned a few times in the past on here and on Twitter that if you look up charts on the clip out, you'll sometimes see philosophies that have Lilith in both Namoth and the Gamaliel, and some even just having Lilith as her own clip. I'm now in the belief that Lilith and Nama had half ownership of both clips, but there may have been one actual ruler, and this is Majecula. And I see half ownership, of course, ironically, right, because they both only had half a body. But it did seem that Lilith had more say-so in that relationship, because remember, she does say to us that, oh, unfortunately for you, you killed Nama instead of me, meaning that Lilith was the one that could incite that fusion rather than Nama going to Lilith, because Lilith actually does rank higher than Nama. So, like I just mentioned, that Yesod is considered the engine room of creation. Right now, I'm perceiving these oblong pouches all over Majecula as vehicles of creation, as Yesod would be known for, but of course the imbalance would come from creating abominations instead. So that's kind of where my head is at, where this really does remind me of Dorothy, just in size and just the vibes that I'm getting. Now, I think it is important that we have to kind of correlate what is going on right now with also things that happen in the Elf arc. We're going to have to see some correspondences come into play. So, yes, Yesod would be Dorothy / Reeve in this case, where their shadowy reflection might actually be Majecula. And like I said, there's a lot of physical cues that I'm seeing right now. To add on to this, I did post a tweet about this. This is like the first thing I said about Majecula was that along with, just seeing the horns and all that stuff, there's a lot more going on, it seems like. So with what we saw with Lilith and Nama, we can conclude that devils can, when they have 4 horns, that means there's at least 2 devils fused together somehow, right? So Majecula comes out, we see 4 horns. We see the 2 horns that we know Majecula by. But then we have 2 extra horns that go straight up. This is not something we see in these silhouettes. And the thing is that these silhouettes, while they may not be extremely true to the actual form of these devils, the thing is that they are somewhat close. They are not this far off. So what I'm thinking is that this is not just Majecula here. Around her neck, she's got this. It's the symbol that Dante and Morris share on their forehead. And this is Lucifero's symbol, right? So what I'm thinking is that this collar-like formation around the neck of Lucifero's symbol, possession symbol, is showing ownership over this devil here. Not only is that symbol there, but the 2 extra horns that we're seeing that go straight up are very reminiscent of Lucifero's actual horns that we see on the silhouette as well. So I do think Lucifero somewhat at play. Now, the part that is really telling of what's going on here is that Majecula has a 3rd eye. Now, this 3rd eye, for me, has to symbolize that she has somehow reached Lucifero's realm, whether that be metaphysical, physically, whatever. Probably not physically, because they're separated by seals, but in Lucifugio Focal in lore, where Lucifero would be, is called the Sitariel, and the Sitariel is where prospective mages end up going along their journey, and this is where the 3rd eye awakens. And I kind of talk about this when I talk about these demon gods that come about. This is from my belief, when we see these beings reach this state where they become demon gods, they acquire this 3rd eye, and I believe it's because they took the draconian path instead of the right-hand path, where they would reach Bina instead and have an enlightened third eye. So I think with the symbol around the neck, the Lucifero-like horns and then Lucifero's possession symbol around the neck, I really do think that we are seeing Majecula plus Lucifero here. And to go back to something I said in another video a while ago, is that I feel like part of this overseas arc might be escaping from this continent. But one of the main things is that they will stop it temporarily. They'll stop this advent temporarily. But the thing is that I think the real enemy here will be Lucifero from here on out. Not in full form, but more of like a Voldemort-ish form where you can't really ever escape his grasp anywhere. And this is foretelling by having gravity. You cannot escape gravity here on Earth or really any other planet, right? You can't escape this thing. And Lucifero might represent that completely, where, like we see with Morris, he could probably spread himself pretty wide here. And we also kind of get this foreshadowed via Liabe's flashback, when he said he was just killing time, and he glad he killed the time to find Liabe and was able to channel himself through him. So it does seem like this is up Lucifero's alley to do. So I kind of want to leave it there. I had to get this out because I was like, I was making a post and I was like, do I leave it on Twitter? Like, I got to a point, like, I'm not about numbers at all right now. I don't care about my sub numbers. I don't care about my view numbers or anything. But I am very particular about just like coming up with these theories. I do spend a ton of time reading into this stuff. And if anything, it's just a moral thing where I just reached a point where I do have people that I'll call it tweet snipe me. And what they'll do is, make a video like based directly on my tweet, or just make another tweet based on what I did. And it's gotten to that point. So I just had to put it here first for you guys, and just as a precautionary measure on my end to prevent these tweet snipers. So that's it. Just let me know what you guys think about these spoilers, by the way. This is absolutely insane. I'm so stoked to have finally a Triad Devil revealed in full form. I really like this. I do think this is the actual queen of that seal. And oh, you know what? We're going to extend the time on this video. You know why? Because I was actually looking something up here. And I mentioned in my past maybe 4 or 5 videos, they're all heavily inspired by Cornelius Agrippa. And this is the guy who made pretty much the whole Goetic compendium of demons. He made it make sense. And not only this was not a man who was just like, just making stuff up. Like, he followed the Jewish faith and everything that they believed in, and also the Greeks, and he mashed it all together because they all really corresponded. And not only was he into devils, but he was into magic and government as well. So I do mention how Cornelius Agrippa was people wanted to put him to death because he was a heretic in their eyes. He was coming up with, to them, he was worshiping demons. But when you really get into his notes and his findings, he was, using demons as a means to an end, and not really for evil purposes. But it was more than that. It was also spirits, jinn, elementals, all that stuff. He has a whole book on these things, and I go over just a very tiny bit of what he found. He's even talked about Aether and all of these things. Very interesting stuff. Now, something I've never talked about is that he has a family member named Herod Agrippa I. And there is a correlation between Herod Agrippa I and Caligula in history. Now, Caligula, Majecula, pretty close. I'm sure we'll find out more about why Tabata went this Majecula route. We'll see what goes on. But Caligula and Herod were somewhat at odds, somewhat, and the only reason there were no riots broken out over Jews essentially was due to Herod just kind of cooperating with Caligula in this sort of way. And what it reminded me of was like, oh shit, like this kind of sounds like the Agrippa's making a contract with Majecula, and I'm wondering if they did that in a not so malicious way, in that the Agrippas were never actually evil like Gordon tells us they were, but were actually, like I was saying about Cornelius Agrippa, using these devils as a means to an end to just stop the complete destruction of things happening, right? So I found that extremely, extremely interesting, and I'm sure there's a bigger correlation, but I was in a hurry to make this video, so I hope you guys like it. Yeah, like I was saying, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about just the art of Majecula, the design. I really like it. Tabata's going off. He's snapping. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about this, your own personal thoughts, your findings in the comment section below. Find me on Twitter, whatever. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully I'll have another video, guys, for you soon. But yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you all. I will see you in the next video. This has been Jack OATz to go. You either know or you don't. If you are still here, I came across another spoiler here on Twitter, and this has a panel of Majecula speaking through Vonica fresh after her defeat, it looks like. And Majecula says, not even Lucifero is aware of this, but with the souls of 3 same-sex mages with powerful magic, my advent can now take place. So now I'm wondering what exactly is going on here. This is, to me, there's a few different places this can go. This either means the entire video that you just watched now is null and void. It means that Majecula is still considered higher up in the tree of death. However, I do still find that unlikely. Now, another thing here is the wording is pretty particular. Now, I know these are unofficials, and not even unofficials, but these are scans, and the translations are probably not up to par. But let's stick with what we have. It seems pretty coherent. What I would say, and man, I was really saving this for a bigger video that I've been doing more research on. But I can let some of it go here. Majecula may very well not be a part of the clipot as we know it. This could actually be giving rise to the idea that there are different pantheons of devils, and probably not just devils, but even angels and gods probably, existing in this world. And Majecula may in fact be just a part of another pantheon overall, which is why the wording is so specific as to having my advent instead of just the advent that is happening now. It is my advent. So I think I could take the wording there. Now, what pantheon Majecula would be in, I did make a Twitter maybe about a week ago, maybe 2. It was a thread on where Majecula could come from, what references to Bada could be making, and I do feel like, gee, who's riding this loud ass bike? It is 2, almost 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, what I think Majecula would be considered a fury in Greek mythology. There are 3 furies, and I just find it interesting that one of the requirements for Majecula's personal advent was having the souls of 3 same-sex mages with powerful magic. This is definitely an unexpected cog in our clipotic machine. Did not expect this to be a personal advent. I think that is very interesting, and now it makes sense as to why Majecula was just cursing these mages like Asier, giving them 6 months to live. It was just kind of weird overall, but now this makes sense. These are more Majecula was playing chess here, putting around a Horcrux. It's just like Voldemort in Harry Potter, where once certain circumstances have been met, he can now be revived in the flesh. So it seems like this is pretty much what happened. So now I'm very curious as to who and exactly what Majecula is and where Majecula actually fits in with this triad. It does seem there's some really weird stuff happening with the triad overall. So I'm very interested. I don't think a lot of what I just said was null and void. However, I do. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. So let's just stay tuned for a bit. I'm probably going to follow up with this if there's more information given to us in the rest of the chapter, of course. But Majecula is turning out to be a pretty interesting character with an unexpected background here. I was not expecting a personal advent to happen. Now this is very interesting. Now what I do believe contextually though is that I don't think Lucifero is dumb enough to not realize that one of the devils that he's working with is probably going towards their own end. If anything, this is common sense. This is something I pointed out a long, long time ago, where I don't believe that these devils are actually just coexisting in harmony. That's not at all what Liu Bei described when he was talking about the underworld. Not at all. If it was all, rainbows and butterflies, they wouldn't be out here fighting, trying to escape something that they could just live in together. And this was also something that we saw with just the low-ranking devils to the mid-ranking devils. Mid-ranking devils just arbitrarily killed another devil for no reason at all. Like, none. So, who are we to think that, these high-ranking devils are definitely just working together just to make sure that their good old pal Lucifero reigns supreme? Like, no, that's not it. And I'm certain that Lucifero thinks that this advent is going to benefit him overall. And then this is why we have this hidden devil with a Xenon, which I do still believe is Belial / Beelzebub. So it's getting crazy. This is where we're getting more into the politics of these devils, and I think this is where it's gonna start. I'm gonna leave it there, but it was a very interesting scan that I saw right after this recording. So I just put this in post-production. Thank you for sticking around. Let me know your thoughts on that and your take on what Majecula means by that in the comment section or on Twitter, as you normally do. For real this time, this has been OATz the Goat. I will see you on the next video. You either know or you